Hey guys, good afternoon, good evening rather. It is just about 6 o'clock and we are going to start our tricking class. You guys are tuning in to Firestorm at Home. This is episode 2 for tricking. It's going to be a 6-part series. So we are coming into a third of the way, starting our third of the way through it. So if you guys have not yet watched episode 1, do so. If you guys did not watch episode 1, do so. You're gonna need everything that we talked about in episode 1. Just as a quick recap, we talked about our front snap, we talked about our roundhouse, we talked about spinning hook, we talked about a stationary hook. There is our casual fighting stance, and most specifically, there is your ability to go front side and back side using our first transition, which is our step over. So that's a quick recap of everything that we worked on in episode 1. That's a lot of stuff. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Welcome to episode 2. We're gonna get started with our mobility, making our way from the top of the body down to the bottom of the body. We're gonna take our head over to the side. We're gonna roll our chin down to our chest, roll it up the opposite side. We're gonna do this back and forth just a few times, really keeping a strong connection between your chin and your chest. You're elongating the back side of your neck and your spine. Nice. Good stuff, everyone. Keep it up. We're gonna move to our shoulders now. We're gonna go on ahead and we're going to hinge our shoulder blades back. Squeeze and pinch your shoulder blades together behind you. And while they're back in that pinch position, we're gonna lift them up. Shoulders are gonna come across the back side of our earlobes. We're going to then curl our shoulders forward and then drop our shoulders down under us. So we're doing a nice big forward shoulder shrug, trying to really emphasize, like I said at the start, that we're moving our shoulder blade. Pinch your shoulder blades back, lift them, keeping the pinch, roll them all the way around. Big forward shrug. Let's go backwards now. Making sure, again, you got a big backward shrug. Now, we discussed the amount of space that you're gonna need in our first episode. You're gonna want something like 6 foot, 7 foot squared, right, around you. So if you guys don't have that space, make sure to clear that space out. You guys can continue to mobilize by shaking out your arms and your elbows, clearing out that space, pushing the coffee table out of the way, shaking out your arms and your elbows, wrists a little bit. We're gonna move the small chair that sits next to the couch, move things out of the way. If you guys have a coffee table, that thing should have been out of the way before you started the sprint today. So, we're gonna go on ahead and move to our torso. With our torso mobility, we're gonna twist and squeeze and pull. When you twist, twist to the maximum that your body can twist. So get all the way back and look as far around you as you can. We're gonna hold it for 3, 2, 1, and then come back. We're gonna twist and hold it for 3, 2, 1. And you guys can see I'm twisting through my hips as well. I'm twisting as much as I can and squeezing and holding all those muscles that help to create that twist. So twisting all the way through, twisting, 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 and 3, 2, 1, and returning, twisting one last time, opposite side. 3, 2, 1, twisting, back to center. We're gonna do some momentum twist now, right? We're gonna twist a little bit faster, using your arms to generate some additional momentum. Now add your head look as well. So I'm gonna look the direction of twist. Making sure that we twist as fully as we can, right? Twisting all the way around, trying not to move our feet, stay planted firmly in place. All right. We're going to go on ahead and move into our hip circles, our hula hoops. We're going to isolate our spine and roll our pelvis around in a full circular motion as best as possible. really trying to exaggerate our pelvic movement. And let's go opposite direction. And so some of you that have watched our parkour episodes will notice that a lot of the mobility is similar, but right here, some of that is going to change, specifically for tricking, because of how much more we use our hips and our legs just in general. So we're going to step into a nice deep lunge. We're gonna keep both of our feet turned outwards, and we're going to push into the inside of our knee of our bent leg for our lunge, keeping our opposite leg out nice and straight. And I'm gonna lean into it, bring my hip down to my heel if I can, or as close as I can, and then I'm going to stand that leg up nice and strong and straight, flexing that. But I'm keeping myself, my chest, my weight low. You guys can see I'm applying pressure over the knee to lock that out. I'm gonna stretch in my hamstring. So I'm gonna come down low, move the hip in. I'm not moving my feet at all. Heels are planted on the ground. So toes are pointed out 45 degrees. Heels are planted, hips down, hips up. Really, really opening up that hamstring and the hip, the back side of the hip flexor and the glute. So there's a lot of stuff that we're moving here. And that's number 3 for our extension. We're gonna do 2 more extensions. All the way down, as low as you can, and come back. Some of you may go lower than me. Some of you may not be as low as I am. That's okay, as long as we're getting into this open hipped lunge, right? In episode 1, we talked about opening and closing our hips just a little bit, and come back. That's why episode 1 is important. So, feet are turned outwards, lunge and leaning over to our opposite side. We're gonna again get that weight on the inside of the knee, pushing the hip open even more, right? Open like a book opening. And from there, keep some of that weight and pressure applied. Stretch out, keep your weight down. Try and keep your spine strong and straight as best as possible. Slight pressure on the back, or on the front of the knee, means a stretch in the back of that thigh and our hamstring, right? Bring down the hip towards the heel. You should feel that in the hip flexor, and you should feel a little bit of that in the top of the quad, right? Come back, boom, in. That's our 3rd lunge now. Get that hip as low and as close as you can. Some people will have a dominant side and a non-dominant side. This is my non-dominant side. You can see I'm not as deep as I was before. There we go, coming back, that's 3. 2 more, dip in, and back out. Last one, I'm gonna hold this for a moment. Nice, straight leg extension, hyperextension a little, just a little, and then our last one. And back. All right, we're gonna set ourselves up. Woo! That's plenty of nice burn in the hips and in the knees and in the ankles from having kept those feet flat. We're gonna actually bring them in, target those same areas one more time, getting our feet and our knees together, squatting into it just a little bit, doing our knee circles. Make sure that you roll those knees out in both directions. I like to do a few directions both ways, going back and forth like a washing machine, right? Opposite again. Keep those circles, stay squatted. And last time around, opposite. Nice. We're going to go now into our ankles. We're going to start by pinning our toe. And again, you should have been barefoot at the start of this episode. We're going to start by pinning our toe in a pointed position, similar to this. My toe is curled back, and now I can apply some weight in there. For those of you that don't know, we're actually going to roll our toe in, and then from here, I'm pushing as if my heel is going to break through the front of my foot, and I'm stretching out the front of that foot. I'm not applying too much weight in there, but now I can stretch out with my ankle, my foot, and my toes, right? Now I'm gonna take that same foot, keep some pressure applied in that foot. I'm gonna turn, so now my toe is flexed up, pressed into the ground, almost like I'm in a very small lunge. Now I'm gonna bend my knee towards the ground a little bit. I should feel plenty of stretch in the bottom of the foot, as well as in the back of the ankle now. So we're gonna come out of that. We're gonna do it one more time as a series of 2 movements. We curl the toe, press in and flex. 2, 1, come out, and opposite side now. We curl or flex the toe, push the heel in, and drop the knee for 3, 2, 1. Okay, come on out of that. Now we're gonna roll that ankle out by putting ourselves into a small lunge and leaning into it and making circles with our knee and our heel, right? So you guys will feel quite a bit of mobility, especially after that stretch. You'll feel that your ankle has got a little bit more of a blood flow going on in there. You should feel slightly more tender or sensitive in that area, opposite direction for your roll. That's okay. It's gonna be important. Making sure that we have our leg taken care of the right way will help us to execute good movement with it. So we're gonna do that series of movements on our opposite leg now, starting with the toe and the foot in that pointed position, where I'm now pushing slight weight into my left leg. That toe is curled in. Now I'm forcing that heel, trying to lean back a little bit and push my heel through the front of my foot. And that's good there. We're gonna go ahead and turn and do it again on that opposite side of that movement there, where I have my toe flexed, pointed up, and I'm really trying to bring my knee down, keep that toe pinned into the ground, bring my knee down to get a stretch in the bottom of the foot and the arch of the foot, specifically the arch of the foot, as well as the toes and my Achilles, so the back of my ankle. Good, we're gonna go ahead and stop there. And then do the movements like we did before in a 3-second hold on either side. Toe curl and point, and wait for 3, 2, 1. Switch to the opposite side. Flexed foot, flexed toe. Drop the knee in for 3, 2, 1. Good, come on out of that. Woo. And now we're gonna do our small lunge on that foot and lean into it and roll that ankle and the knee out, and again, a circular motion. Just a few circles, going clockwise, then counterclockwise, or vice versa, counterclockwise and clockwise. So, going just my few circles now, I'm gonna stop, head my opposite direction for my ankle roll and my knee circle. Woo. Making sure to keep breathing in your nose, out your mouth, in, out. Nice. So, some of the last stuff that we're going to do is specifically for our kicks. Like I said, a lot of that is similar to our parkour warm-ups, our parkour mobility, but the few things that we're going to do different, like the lunges, is also going to be a few of our chambered lifts and chambered hip turns. So, we're going to take a strong or casual fighting stance, where our dominant leg is in back, non-dominant leg is in front. We're going to lift that back leg up in the chamber, and then we're going to turn and come back. We're going to do that 10 times on each leg. Make sure that you have plenty of space around you, and you're not accidentally bumping into someone or something, and we're not executing our kick right now, just doing our chamber and our position change, right? So, that's 1. Let's do 9 more. Try and keep your hands up. You don't know what to do with your hands. We talked about it, you can grab your shirt. But at this point, after a week of practicing episode 1, you should be good. All right, keep your hands up. Just like that. That's 4. That's 5. 5 more. All right, and you guys don't forget that bottom foot, that planted foot. It's not planted the whole time. It plants and turns, pivots too. So, here's us. Slow down, move confident and strong with balance and control. Shift your body's weight, counterbalance as you need to, Last two. Good. And so, most of us just did our dominant fighting stance. We're gonna switch and do our non-dominant 10 of those chambers and turn with the chamber. So, chamber and tilt, like we said in our previous episode. So, strong, non-dominant, casual fighting stance, chamber, tilt. 1, 9 more. That's 5 left. Readjust, stay strong, keep going. Nice, there's our 10. We are gonna get started with a light jog in place. So, during this next portion with our blood pumpers, if I stop this movement so that I can give you corrections, please keep moving. We're gonna keep ourselves going. And keep that note in mind for all of our following episodes and all of our previous episodes. It's better for you to get that additional workout that, well, I'm trying to provide currently, but you may need some adjustments. If you're slouching, keep your chest up, keep your shoulders back, keep your chin in a neutral and forward position. Try and keep your space contained. I'm not going anywhere outside of maybe a 1 or 2 foot wide circle. And I'm gonna maintain that the whole time. We're gonna go ahead, stop our jogging in place. Our next movement is gonna be a jogging high knee. Again, in place. This time, lift your knees up to at least the height of your hips. If you can, go up higher than that. So, knees up, and you guys keep going. Keep in mind, try and keep your heel off the ground for an additional bonus, right? If I'm here, and my heel is dropping and I'm going flat-footed, it's gonna really kill me. So keep that heel up, stay actively engaged in the ball of the toe and the arch of the foot. Might touch the ground, maybe a little, but the goal, get those knees up and focus on soft contact with the floor. Go ahead and give those high knees a stop. We're gonna catch our breath for a moment, and minding ourselves, slouching is terrible for catching our breath. We need to sit up straight, chest, chin up, neutral position, deep breath in the nose, and out the mouth. Okay, we may need a drink of water at this point. You guys, if you want some, go ahead and get some now. I'm gonna go ahead and get some for myself. Nice. All right. Boy, that was refreshing. I'm stoked. Wonderful drink of water and plenty of open space. And, well, time to do some kicks. Today we're going to talk about our axe kicks. They are another one of our basic kicks, but they're commonly used in more advanced level movements. So, without me getting too much crazier further into it, I'm going to demonstrate a few of our axe kicks. And brief disclaimer, there's many different martial arts studios. And there are many different types of martial arts. And there are some people that refer to this kick as a crescent kick because they're doing it slightly differently. They will also refer to it as inside, where we're referring to it currently as outside, or vice versa, an inside crescent or an outside axe. Those sort of things are going to come up as far as terminology goes in the way of speaking with triggers or doing tricking and practicing martial arts. It's important to keep an open mind and to understand that because there's so much derivation of the martial art, it comes from so many different places, that some of that naming will be different from maybe something you've previously heard. So we're going to go on ahead and stick with our terminology that we've got here today, and we're going to get right on into our axe kick. So I've got my casual fighting stance. I will be primarily striking with my dominant leg in the back. Now, as I strike for my axe kick, I'm going to be bringing my foot up straight through here, striking down with the heel and the pad of my foot as well. So, fighting stance, big drive up, and a strong downward strike. I'm going to do that for you guys from the side so we can see an axe kick. If you think the strike down is like an axe chopping wood, this helps. This visual is super helpful, at least it was for me when I was first learning to strike. So, axe kick. I'm pulling my foot up straight. My foot is fairly flexed. You guys can see I'm striking with my heel primarily. The flex foot is specifically because I'm using this, or I'm used to using this for combat or contact purposes. You can also point your toe for your axe kick. That would look like this. And so, some of that is going to be, again, personal flair. You can have your foot flexed, you can have your toe pointed. All up to you at this point. We're going to take our fighting stance. We're going to talk about a straight leg lift. If you guys can, take that back leg. We're going to turn the hip in to bring that foot straight through. Our hip was fairly outwardly turned as we were in our casual fighting stance. But now I'm swinging and driving my back leg through. So we're going to start with just that movement. We're going to come in with a slight bodily turn, drive the toe up. If you can, point the toe on the toe drive. This will help. You'll see it's almost like a front snap, but there's not very much of a chamber. My leg is straight. It's a very straight leg drive. The other thing is that my front foot, my heel is pivoting. My toe is pivoting. My heel is swinging. So from that front foot, you can see I go forward facing to hip turn, foot drives through, and my heel swings. Now I'm in my opposite side for my fighting stance. We're going to try and maintain our space and not kick our TV or our wall or whatever is the thing we're stringing on. We're going to try not to kick anything. We're going to take strong, casual fighting stance, and we're going to practice a few of our axe kick. After you finish your axe kick, quickly bring yourself back into your fighting stance. Driving the toe up, and then striking with the heel, again, like an axe chopping wood. Finishing in an opposite fighting stance, driving it back, maintaining your space, doing it again. Bringing yourself back. That's 2. Let's do a total of 10 together. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. So, 10 axe kicks on dominant leg. Switching now for 10 on my non-dominant leg. If your kick is not as high, not as well defined, or all around not as comfortable, it's okay, we understand. Practice this and episode 1 in unison together. You don't have to watch them, but if you skip through all the bits and you find all the most important bits of the kicks, jump to those, watch those, practice those, will help with these. Let's get our axe kick on that opposite side. Nice strong stance, and again, hands on the collar if we need to, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so practice our axe kick. And for the most part, you can see it's very clearly straight at you, straight back down afterwards. Now, we're going to talk about 2 variations of our axe kick. And this is where sometimes terminology, depending on different martial arts, you'll find different terminology, different uses, different explanations for inside and outside kick. We're going to talk about our inside axe and our outside axe. One of the best ways to remember this is actually that our inside axe is going to be striking with the inside of the foot. It's the way this skill was taught to me. So if I'm in my fighting stance, my inside axe is striking with the inside of my foot, being this space here. Now, if you have one, the kick paddle helps. Having someone that can hold a kick paddle for you is even more helpful. But in an instance like this, I can hold the kick paddle for myself, and I can explain that my inside axe will come from outside, and it will strike the target from the inside of my foot, that target being on the inside of my range of movement, closing my leg, closing that hip inside. So my leg will come up at about 45 degrees off my target line. So here. My leg will come up through here, come over the top and strike, and paddle there. And if I'm doing that significantly slower, it looks more like this. And you guys can see I'm striking with my toe fairly curled and pointed, and actually the inside of my foot, right? So, setting that out of the way, I'm going to do 5 of my inside axe kick, going on my right leg. And so, we're going to come up the outside, strike inside axe. Now, keeping your fighting stance, keeping your hand out in front of you, you can even target your hand. That was 1 kick. Now on this one, you'll see, striking the hand itself. You don't even need a pad or a pillow or a stuffed animal if you don't want one. But it's important to envision a target. This is spotting. Spotting is a concept we talked about in episode 1. You'll need that for every episode. We're going to use spotting. So, spotting, striking 3 more times with that axe kick. Outside to inside. Nice. 1 more for good measure. So, we're going to use that technique on our opposite leg, going here, going inside from my now left leg. We rise it up. If I'm in this fighting stance, front foot's pointed out here, back foot's pointed out here. Halfway between that is my 45. I'm going to be lifting and rising nearly as close to this space as I can, getting up and over and trying to strike again the inside of my foot to my target. Your non-dominant side may be awkward or challenging. That's okay. Okay, so we've talked about our axe kick, we've talked about our inside axe, we're now going to talk about our outside axe. Now an outside axe, from my dominant fighting stance, I'll be coming here with my back leg across my body. Now, I am then striking with the outside of my foot. So my outside axe would look like this. right? And now you can see I'm bringing that foot back behind me. However, in most traditionally used environments, you're gonna bring that kick up and out in front of you, going forward with it. Something more like this. So you can see I'm now striking with what is a different part of my foot, the blade of my foot, actually the outside of my foot, my outside axe. Right? So our inside, easily remembered, striking with the inside of the foot. Outside, easily remembered, striking with the outside of the foot. Right? Good. Now that we're all on the same page about our axe kicks, we're going to go on ahead, take our casual fighting stance, do 5 of our outside axe with our right and 5 with our left. Right? Fighting stance, strong but casual. And we're going to lift that leg up across the body. This one, you might find it easier to do a slight chamber where your leg is bent. And that's okay, most people do. When you first start this movement, you almost have to. So, slight chamber, then big extension. Use the extension from your chamber to add to your lift for your outside axe. So, fighting stance. 1, done in place. We can also go forward with our outside axe. So, that's 2. Either way, come back to our fighting stance. Finish strong. 4 and 5. So, opposite side, our non-dominant side, we're going to take that strong stance and be mindful. I accidentally keep scooting up towards you guys. You don't accidentally scoot up to your front wall. Okay? Take that fighting stance, nice and strong. And again, leg is going to come up across the body. We're at 45 degrees for our inside axe. Now that we're doing our outside axe, it's almost 45 on the opposite side of our back side of our body. So, taking that fighting stance, lifting up across the opposite side, kicking with the outside of the foot. And you can land in front, then reposition yourself as necessary. So, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, we've talked about our outside axe, our inside axe, and our normal axe kick. The next thing we're going to talk about is actually called a spinning axe kick, and it's going to lead us into some of our first really acrobatic movements. Now, you may be remembering our first episode, we talked about spinning hook kick. So our first episode's combo was a front snap, a round, and a spinning hook. Now, we're going to apply some of that step over that we used in the first episode and that spinning hook technique. We're going to make a slight adjustment to it this time, however. And instead of stepping over and chambering our kick, we're going to chamber actually like never during this kick. We're going to do that big extended axe kick instead. So we're going to take our fighting stance on our dominant side. From this position, we can shift over into our front side stance like we did in our previous episode. We're going to be using that shift step, changing fighting stance from this forward, like I'm striking someone, targeting someone here, sort of fighting stance, to a more exhibition fighting stance, where I can move to display my prowess as a show, as a performance, because this is not for combat. So now that we've cleared that all up, fighting stance, shift step towards that front side stance, step over, and here, when we step over, we're going to go from one leg to the other leg, and straight leg, rise up, hold that leg up and over the top. So unlike our spinning hook, I'm laterally traveling this almost straight line here, and I have my body only turned, my hips turned, facing down. My spinning axe is going to be up over this line, arcing over my head almost if I can. So, fighting stance, shift, step over, and you can see the difference on that line that my leg is drawing. I'm not coming across here, I'm coming across here, over the top, and striking again with the outside of the blade of the foot instead of the bottom of the foot, like the heel. So for my hook, I'm striking here, right? Not for my axe. My axe, I'm striking here on the blade of my foot, right? So we're gonna go ahead, take our fighting stance, give ourselves some adjustment. I'm shifting over the side because I know I'm gonna move laterally to my left. If you guys have siblings or sharing the space, go one at a time. One of you will go, then the other. Okay? We're gonna go ahead and do a few our spinning axe, right? Spinning outside axe. 5 of those together, starting from 0. So, shift, step over, spinning axe, readjust. Fighting stance, shift, step over, spinning axe. Keeping that big extension, big straight leg. It's going to become important. We've got 3 more of those. Fighting stance, shift step, step over, big axe. 2 more. Fighting stance, shift step, step over, big axe kick. 1 last one. Then opposite side. Fighting stance, shift step, step over, axe kick. Woo! If your hips are open and warm, they should be now. Now on our non-dominant side, when we do our axe kick, if we need to, slow down. You will see I do so. I have to, or else I won't be able to spot and execute my kick in a way that I should, right? I'm not just throwing my feet, I'm delivering a kick. There's a big difference. So, fighting stance, casual, strong, shift, step over, and again, big extension. Try and keep the leg up and over. If the foot drops a little, it's gonna happen, it's bound to. And especially if it's your non-dominant side. Try and keep the heel up as high as you can over the top of your own body as a target in front of you. Imagine that, spotting that. Fighting stance, shift step over. Ooh. That's 2. Let's go 3 more together. Fighting stance, shift step over. Big axe kick over the top. And 2 last ones. Fighting stance, shift step over. Don't fall. Last one. Adjust as necessary. Fighting stance, shift step over. Big axe kick over the top. Awesome. So, we've talked about our spinning axe. We're going to talk about our next transition movement. It's our next takeoff movement. We just used our step over quite a few times. Excuse me. We also used our shift step quite a few times. So, our next movement that we're going to talk about is actually our pop takeoff. So, pop takeoff is where I bring both of my feet together, even a nice little squat, and then a nice big old jump, right? So pop takeoff is something that we can try together by starting in a fighting stance, taking a shift step, and then bringing our feet together into a squat and jumping with a quick 360, because that's going to be how it's used. Almost always that's how it's used. A pop takeoff is a jump, essentially. So, from our fighting stance, shift step, and almost like I'm doing a step over, I'm actually going to step together and take off my feet together. So, in full speed, our hop looks like this. Okay, so you can see lots of potential. Big old jump, big old twist, cool fun spin, and it's great. And if you know it's good for you, you'll do that 12.5 times. You'll start right now, and you'll hit that fighting stance, shift step, step together. Excuse me. Step together. And in the act of stepping together, I don't step together straight-legged and then squat. No. I'm multi get low at the same time. This helps to create a sense of fluid movement when I do my next bit, when I jump up and twist out. So, fighting stance, you guys should have been practicing, should have been listening. We're gonna go it together. Reset, strong stance, shift, pop. Ooh. Getting a bunch of good twists. Should be a fun time, and it should be something you also practice on your opposite side. So stop, switch to your non-dominant fighting stance. We're going to shift, step over, and again, as you step in, squat, pop and twist. Okay, so non-dominant, shift step, boom, step together, pop. Yes, you see I'm taking it slower on my non-dominant side, and I'll increase my speed as I increase my level of comfort. So, thanks. Also, my non-dominant side does not twist as much, as fast or as well. And that's okay, but we still must practice being ambidextrous. Ambidextrous, super important. Woo. See one more together and try and stomp our landing. Stick it strong, right? Okay, so we're going to incorporate our pop takeoff and our most recently discussed kick being our outside pressing, or outside axe. We're going to be striking with the outside of our foot after executing a pop takeoff and a slight twist. So I'm going to demonstrate the movement. Please don't do it during my demonstration now. Fighting stance, shift step, step to pop, and then I'm going to pop and axe kick, bringing that foot up and over. So it's very similar to our spinning outside axe. However, we're now, instead of stepping and transitioning from one foot to the next, we'll be stepping both together, giving it a big old jump and good old college try. So we're gonna get there together. We're gonna do it together. Fighting stance, shift step, and now you can see I'm loaded weight over my back leg here, so that when I step in and step over, I'm carrying all this weight into this closed hip position, so I can now jump and turn and carry my kick into this open hip position, right? Where I'm closed hip, now I'm open hip. And I will be landing in this open hip, open wide stance, either here or carrying myself all the way back over here. Bring it together in full speed. Fighting stance. Adjustment, full space, right? Fighting stance, shift, step in, pop, outside axe. So, this was taught to me as a back fan. That was what the kick was called, was what it was taught to me. And so if you guys have any other names for it, you know what it is, then you can feel free to message us, leave it there. Comment on the video, say, I learned that kick does this. But for right now, we're practicing our back fan. So, fighting stance, shift, pop, back hand. Nice, strong, and as you guys can see, open, hip, forward stance. Almost like I'm in a horse stance. So, we're going to continue with our back bend, doing just a few more on our dominant side. Fighting stance, shift step, pop, and strong finish. Good. Just 2 more times together. Fighting stance, shift step, step over, pop, and readjust. Strong stance, strong finish. Last one together on our dominant side, and guess what? Boys and girls, non-dominant side. So, last one, make it strong, feel the movement, remember the feeling of the movement, replicate it on your opposite side. Alright, now, on my opposite side, nice and ready, figuring it out, taking it slow as you need to. We're going to shift step together for the pop, and then target with that opposite leg. Oh my god, so awkward, so challenging, especially if it's done slowly. This is where a little momentum will help carry you through it. Step a little further out, give yourself the space that you need, ask your sibling to wait, and give your opposite side a try. Because now we're jumping, acrobatically twisting, and kicking with our opposite side. An unorthodox movement. It's a very unorthodox movement for most people. So, strong fighting stance, shift, pop, outside axe. That's 2, let's do a few more together. Fighting stance, strong, shift, pop, outside axe, striking with the blade of the foot, not turning the hip, striking like a hook kick. So, fighting stance, strong, fighting stance, shift step, turn, pop, axe kick. All right, let's do 2 more together. Fighting stance, strong, planted, good, then go. Last one. Good. So, you guys should probably take this moment to get yourselves a drink of water. I need one. I'm taking one. All right. Whew. So, boy, are my legs feeling it. It's a good time. We've got just about 15 minutes left in class. So what we're gonna do with this time is talk about our next cool, fun kick. It's another acrobatic kick. This one is our tornado kick. So a tornado kick looks like this. From our fighting stance, I'll be doing my shift step, my step over, to essentially what we had done previously, essentially a cheat step takeoff. So we're talking about a new kick and a new takeoff. So I'm going to fighting stance, shift step, cheat step, spinning around, pull myself back through. So that's a very slow version of our tornado kick. One more time in full speed for everyone. So as you can see, executing kick or movement in full speed, 1, looks way better. 2, is usually a little bit more fluid and will require a strong pull of energy to start and a good ability to continue carrying that momentum or that energy through the next succession of movements. So we're going to talk about our dominant fighting stance, how our shift step, we shift into a slight lunge position. Leg is bent and loaded, leg is out and straight. I shift from my fighting stance here to this nearly frontside stance, but with my weight loaded here, I can then carry over all that power and that weight, and I'm going to exchange this foot and this foot almost like physically in place. So if I had a small means of marking this target, where my feet will go, when I do my cheat step, it's that this foot replaces that foot, which means that those two cannot occupy that same space at the same time. So doing your cheat step would mean that one foot's coming off the ground immediately as the next foot is coming into the ground. We're transferring our energy and our momentum from that step down to that knee rise. So our cheat step is the first thing that we're going to do before our tornado kick. This will help us to get our tornado kick. Starting from an already shift stance sort of position out here in a lunge, we're going to step over and turn. So our toe of our leading leg, or our dominant leg, is going to be pointed behind us at the back wall. At the back wall, right? Or the couch, whatever is behind me. From here, again, replacing foot 1 with foot 2 and lifting that knee up. So foot 1 becomes a very powerful knee drive. Foot 2 is an almost blocking action. It's a punch. You guys have punched, ever jumped on a trampoline or used a spring floor or ran and just stomped on your way into a jump into the swimming pool? Your one leg is essentially doing that punch movement. So we're going to step down very strong, very powerful. Right? Fighting stance, shift step. I'm in this lunge position. There's a lot of power loaded into here. I'm going to use all of it. I'm going to put that power into the ground, get a little bit of bounce out of it, and I'm going to assist that bounce by using that knee drive. So if I'm here, and I do my cheat step towards you, it starts with fighting stance, shift step, then a big, very powerful step over to one leg at a time. We use our cheat step to execute big, big kicks. Our tornado kick is a kind of small kick. Our 540 kick is a little bit bigger. And I'm big, big swipe over. I don't get any power for that movement from pop takeoff really. I have to use this one leg than the other cheat takeoff technique. So, fighting stance, adjust it so you're appropriate, and shift step, then cheat step and twist. So, fight, shift, cheat, and twist. You guys can see I'm chambering my knees. I'm lifting them up a little bit. That's okay during the twist. It will help to keep you balanced or centered. Fighting stance, shift, cheat, and twist. You can see where and how those kicks come through if I'm pulling my knees up. My knees are going to be the guiding point for where my kick is soon to follow. So, fighting stance, shift, cheat. We're going to do that 2 more times together on our dominant side, and then try it a few times on our non-dominant side. So, fighting stance, shift, cheat step, and you guys can see again, I'm chambering my legs in. After the cheat takeoff, I'll do one last one where I don't chamber my legs and I just hold that straight body position. Fighting stance, shift. So, the knee drive is helpful, and it does mean chambering. So, get used to that aspect of this series of movements. Tricking will have a lot of that. And if you're not ready for it, go back to episode 1 and get ready for it. We're going to try our opposite side for our cheat takeoff, and starting with that fighting stance, shift step again, stepping nearly in place, big knee drive on the opposite side. So, shift, I'm now in this left lunge where I was previously in the right, step over, and big twist. Okay. Putting the movement together a little bit faster, a little bit fuller, you'll see the full scope of it. And again, you can see non-dominant side doesn't always have as much power, as much twist as the dominant side does, and that's okay. Continuing that practice anyway. 3 more together. Nice. Readjust, reposition. Just practicing that cheat takeoff and twist. Again, so fighting stance. Last one, we'll do together. Fighting stance, readjust. Catch your breath, make sure you're spotting your target. Shift stance, cheat step. Woo! Alright, so we practice our cheat takeoff on our left and our right, so our non-dominant and dominant are both taken care of. We're going to practice our tornado kick and then get into our hip stretches and call it a night for tricking episode 2. Now our tornado kick, one more time, looks like this. So it's very similar to what we just did, but now I'm executing a roundhouse kick. So I'm going to fighting stance, shift step, cheat step. When I lift my left leg or my first leg over, when it chambers and it lifts over, its knee is drawing a line that my second knee is going to try and match. I'm going to then turn my hip over as I. That is when I strike with my roundhouse kick. I'm going to be landing on that first leg that came up and over the top, finishing my kick with a foot planted under me, striking like that, just like in our previous roundhouse from our previous episode. So your tornado, again, in full speed, will look like this, fighting stance, shift, cheat chamber round, pivot at the end. So again, it is cheat, chamber, chamber round. And then I pivot through, finishing my fighting stance nice and strong. This move, when done well and practiced enough, can nearly be done in place. So if I have my fighting stance here, shift step, cheat step, I don't travel much more than maybe a foot or so. And so you can see that good practice means we can maintain our space, even with a trick or a kick that's designed to travel. So fighting stance, shift step, cheat step, chamber, roundhouse. Lots of alternating work, but I believe in it. So, fighting stance, cheat, into your tornado. So, we call that a cheat tornado. We're going to do just 2 more dominant side. Fighting stance, cheat, tornado. Looking good, feeling good, nice and strong. Once more, fighting stance, shift step, cheat, tornado. Woo. All right. Now, practicing that movement on your opposite side is going to be super important. What we're going to do today is use that little bit of time to do so. Take that fighting stance, shift, cheat step, big knee rise, and land, then round, and finish. And now on our non-dominant side, you can see I'm exaggerating that I go from the knee rise to the landing and the chamber, then the kick. Taking it slower and piece by piece like that is going to provide a bit of additional understanding for this movement on your opposite side of your body. Now, let's do 3 more of them together on our opposite side, then we'll get started on stretches. Fighting stance, shift, cheat step, tornado kick. Pivoting all the way back to the starting position if you can. Readjust, fighting stance, shift, cheat step, and big tornado kick. Again, 1 more, fighting stance, shift, cheat. Woo! All right. So, talked about a bunch of kicks today. We're going to take a seat. We're going to recap all those kicks and do a stretching bit. Woo! We're going to start with a big old, that's right, you guessed it, straddle stretch. So, put your legs out into full extension, toes pointed as best as possible. I like to keep my spine up nice and strong and straight, then turn my hands in, grab under my calves, and pull myself down, right? Woo. It's hot in here. I'm gonna take my hat off. Please excuse me. Don't forget to breathe during your stretch, in the nose and out the mouth. And pull into your legs and lock your knees down at the same time. And then push your chest and belly button through the front. Nice. You can also manually rotate your feet outwards, like this, to increase your stretch, all possible directions. Okay. We're going to come out of that. We're going to reach with our chest flattened down towards one knee, reaching, chest flattened down towards the one knee, if we can. Now this doesn't mean that we should round our chest and curl our body and crunch it. I want you to keep that straight spine as you can. Try and imagine you're folding your spine to your straight leg, like that, not like this, right? So, big, strong, straight spine. You can imagine your arms as an extension of it, and then lean all of it over without curling and crunching. Leave your body straight and strong and reach out. Breathing in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth. As you breathe, try and push yourself deeper and deeper with each breath. Excuse me. All right. we're gonna go on ahead, come off that side. If you need to, flex your foot a little bit. I almost got a cramp in the arch of my foot. That tells you I need to do more stretches and drink more water and eat more bananas or something. But we're gonna switch to our opposite side. And again, nice strong toe point, and arms are an extension of the spine, big upward reach, then a nice book style fold. We're not a soft cover book, we are a hard book. We're not paperback. Boy, we're an expensive like $60 edition of this book. We got a strong spine, we got a strong cover, we got a strong back, and we're gonna stay strong in our reach and our fold. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. In, and out. Nice. And come on up and out of that. We're gonna go into a butterfly stretch, bringing our feet together, trying to keep our knees as wide as possible, and then bringing our feet together. So, once you go on ahead and get that butterfly, we're going to grab a hold of our shins, very bottom of our shins. We're going to pull upwards on our feet while pushing downwards with our elbows on our knees. So pull and push to tilt this shin bone nice and flat and level. Right? Ooh. Now, from there, you can also pull your chest and chin up into place. Strong straight spine. Think belly button towards your toes or your heels. And come on out of there. Put our legs straight out in front of us. Okay. Shake those knees out. We are going to go into our lunge. Nice, strong forward lunge. We're going to do this knee down to start. So knee down, my toes pointed, right straight behind me as best as possible. My foot is straight in front of me. I'm in a knee down lunge, pushing my hips towards my front heel, pushing my chest and chin up. Woo. Nice and strong. Make sure you keep breathing in your nose and out your mouth the whole time. The whole time we've been doing class, kicks, drills, and stretching, your mobility, your warm-ups, all of it. Ooh, keep breathing the whole time. Now from this position, we are going to simply keep our foot in place and straighten our hip back. I don't move my knee, I don't move my back foot. Everything that's planted on the ground is staying planted. Now I'm trying to pin my chest to my knee, almost like they're connected here. And then I'm straightening this leg back, ooh, trying to get a nice deep hamstring stretch, the bottom side of my leg and the back side of my body towards my glute, or gluteus maximus. My glute medius, technically, but it's not as fun to say. Don't forget to breathe. Yeah, it's a good time. And we're gonna go ahead and take that leg and put that behind us and switch. Do that two-part stretch on our opposite side now. So bringing our other foot up, knee up in front of us, hip comes down towards our heel. We're gonna keep our chin and chest up. Get comfortable. Make sure that you keep your foot turned down, that your foot doesn't bend or turn outwards. Right? I'm not falling over, I'm keeping myself up, keeping my back thigh pointed straight down. And we're going to now do that same thing we did before. Knee planted, foot planted, everything that's planted is gonna stay planted, and I'm simply straightening this leg and pushing my hips back. Now, if you start with your knee and your chest connected, and then straighten your leg and try and keep your knee and chest connected the whole time, you may feel this stretch slightly differently and slightly more intensely. Then from here, where you can no longer really keep them connected, keep your chest as low as possible, then straighten that leg and straighten your spine. Now you should be feeling significantly more intense
discomfort during this stretch, but all stretches should be slightly uncomfortable, like having to listen to me for a class for an entire hour. Like that's super uncomfortable. You can ask Summer, she'd agree, I'm sure. It's been a couple episodes now. She's not tired of me yet. By the end of the series, she will be. But you will all benefit greatly from these stretches and from these class lessons coming out of the stretch. You guys, there's a bunch more stretches you can do. I'm not just gonna sit here and give you the whole worldly list of stretches. I'm gonna tell you to spend some time on your free time at home to investigate a few more stretches and figure it out for yourselves. You guys did a wonderful job with your kicks today. If you did not watch episode 1, go watch it. Watch this episode like 10 more times this week. Practice it 10 more times this week. Then, I'll see you guys next week for tricking episode 3. Later on this week, you guys, tomorrow morning, are gonna catch Coach Summer. She's the lovely lady of the camera currently, but tomorrow she'll be the lovely lady of Acroflex. It's our next episode. I think that's episode 5 is tomorrow for Acroflex, and that's from 9 to 10 in our living room. Now, if you guys want to catch more of our parkour, it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 to 4. And for our Acroflex, like you already know, there's that Saturday 9 to 10, but we're also going to have Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 4. And lastly, not to forget it, tricking. If you guys caught the session today, you understand that it's from 6 to 7. But there wasn't many people on the stream today, so I'm going to imagine that you guys will watch this at a later time. And if you don't, then, well, I'm going to keep making them, and you guys will get a chance to use it whenever, because it is an endless resource. It's on the internet. Once it's there, it doesn't go away. That's your life lesson for the day. Thanks, guys. Adios.